Welcome in, welcome back. I am Jay, your host. That is Jay with an E at the end. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for returning, my return viewers and my first time viewers. We are so glad you have joined us. We're talking about the Sebastian Rogers case today. He vanished from his home 6 months and 3 days ago, Hendersonville, Tennessee. We're working through some recent information provided to another YouTuber, the Mob Crew, doing great work, and working with Sebastian's neighbors who told him it was not just the camera that we have seen the surveillance footage from with the lights and everything that had the wrong date on it. Well, it's not just that one that had the wrong date or was jammed, but other houses, even on Kellen, which is important to remember, were jammed, not working properly as well. Get this, friends, from Friday night, 2 nights before Sebastian went missing, their cameras were jammed, compromised, data wrong. Data was wrong. And they were working fine again on Tuesday, February 27th, one day after Sebastian Rogers went missing, was reported missing. Creepy, right? Coincidence? Not in my opinion. There are no coincidences in crime. Let's talk camera jammers, also known as HERF generators, directional EMPs, and Wi Fi blockers. We're going to learn a little bit about these and see how it could have been done, allegedly. This is Crime Time Buzz. This is for entertainment purposes only, not to be taken as fact, but we are speculating, theorizing, and creating opinions based on some information, alleged information. This is for entertainment purposes. No person or persons are being accused. Thank you so much for being here. So, if the cameras went out on Friday night for numerous neighbors down Kellen and Stafford Court, and then they came back on Tuesday. Very interesting, isn't it? Very, very interesting. And it makes a lot of things, a lot of questions pop into my mind. Okay. So, coincidence, not in my opinion. Let's go over a little bit of information about the capabilities of these jammers, first introduced by the military. So, military personnel are familiar with them, as well as criminals use them also. Camera jammers, camera jammers are usually used to disrupt the transmission of wireless signals of Wi-Fi security cameras. You can use a camera with advanced network connectivity. And by the way, the ones that are hardwired are more difficult to jam. Disabling security cameras with camera jammers, also known as HERF generators or directional EMPs, they are handheld units that emit microwave pulses that disturb the characteristic signals in the microcircuitry of security cameras. Okay, so there's a picture of it on one of the handheld ones on the thumbnail, as well as a Wi Fi blocker. So, when I heard it was jammed Friday night, 2 nights before Sebastian went missing, a lot of questions came up to my mind. Some you may have answers to. So, I'm asking you. If you have answers, please drop them in the comments because I think they're important. First off, Friday night is 2 days before Sebastian Rogers was reported went missing. So, this kidnapping, removal of Sebastian, taking of Sebastian, however, in my opinion, was planned, premeditated. And we're going to talk about that. A premeditated plan that incorporated jamming cameras allegedly 2 days prior to Sebastian Rogers going missing. So, that one of my questions is, did they see anyone unusual who didn't belong in the neighborhood on Friday at any time in a car, walking, whatever, that could be jamming cameras? That's kind of my question. One thing that I want to get to. Also, the HERF generator and the EMP device, they jam the cameras. And from what I found, their range is about 160 feet, 50 meters, from what I can determine. And if you know more accurate information, please share. Was anyone spotted in the area, the neighborhood on Friday that was out of character? A car that didn't belong, a person that didn't belong? in order to get in there and jam the cameras around the neighborhood? And if not, what does that tell us? Possibly, allegedly, they belong in the neighborhood. It's not strange to see their car or them on camera, perhaps. Also, I have a question for you that this brings up. Please let me know if you know this for sure. There was a change of plans, and Sebastian did not go to his dad's house as planned that weekend that he disappeared. When was this plan switched? How much notice before the weekend? And I think that's important because if they had time before Friday to communicate, allegedly, with, was he gaming? Could a perp online found out he was going to be home, thought out a plan, got in there with jammers, returned Sunday, execute the disappearance, back Tuesday to unjam the cameras? Was someone spotted on those days that didn't belong in the neighborhood? I'm weighing all the possibilities, which is why I bring in Sebastian speaking to some online perps while gaming. Sightings of the comings and goings of someone on those days, whether they belonged or are a stranger. That's important, allegedly, in my opinion. Also, how far in advance did they determine Sebastian was not going to be home or was going to be home and not at Seth's? How far in advance was that determined? Do we know when that is? I think that's important. I don't believe someone would have planned a kidnapping the weekend he was supposed to be at his dad's unless there was plenty of notice of the change, transition, rush to execute it. Who else knew the plan had changed? Okay, well, we know his mom, KP, his stepdad, CP, and Seth, his bio father, knew. Did anyone else in the family know? And the reason I say family is because really that's Sebastian's only social circle is his family. Okay, so how long did they have before that weekend that they knew he was going to be home and not at Seth's? Was it a last minute change, a few days? It's important because it could limit opportunity to develop such a plan and execute it if it was a last minute decision or a short decision, because we're seeing already Friday, allegedly, someone's in there jamming cameras. So, how much time did someone have to plan this, execute it? So, criminals use jamming devices to block signals, affect data from cameras and other surveillance equipment from a distance. With camera jammers, also known as a HERF generator or a directional EMP, they're handheld units that, like I said, emit microwave pulses and disturb the signals used in the microcircuitry of the security cameras. So, people with military backgrounds, surveillance knowledge, intelligence, hunters use them, and they're handheld. And it says, and criminals, of course, when an assailant carries a signal jammer, the effectiveness of a wireless doorbell camera is severely reduced. Carrying because they can be handheld. It doesn't matter whether your system has a paid subscription, HD video, a battery pack, and more. The wireless security camera that is not wired directly to the home network can be easily disabled. That's really scary, isn't it? This is the same case for nearly all wireless devices, especially when faced with a jammer. To the machine, overall system, and cloud service, it is generally viewed as an occasional signal loss in the event of internet loss. So, thus, in my opinion, the date being stopped on the surveillance footage, remember it had stopped? That could be why. And according to the neighbors, this happened to more than one of them, allegedly. So let's talk about the ways to jam a camera. So we talked about the HERF generator, the directional EMP electromagnet pulse generators. They're handheld, they can be carried, they disable a wireless security camera, they can stop the data. It makes it look like an internet loss. Wow. Okay. So, other ways you can do this to block cameras are You can utilize IR light. Now, this one wouldn't be the case because it can damage the cameras and there really isn't damage. And what that says is you can, most of them have IR lights now, and you make them and making them sensible to infrared radiation. So if you point infrared radiation lights or illuminators directly to the security cameras, which I would think you'd be noticed, right? Doing that around the neighborhood, cameras can't catch any image during the nighttime. Interesting. But remember that too strong of IR lights will cause damage to the cameras. Excuse me. Blind security cameras with LEDs. It sounds like a useful way to disable security cameras with an LED hat or flashlight, but it's more complex in practice. You have to precisely shine the light directly into the lens and hold the infrared flashlight steady for a long time. Again, I would think you could be noticed. A laser pointer or infrared laser may block a CCTV security camera, but it can also damage the security cameras. And you may be captured by the security cameras until you get the laser aimed correctly. So that would be kind of risky. Wow. So, neighbors' cameras, Friday night, down Kellen, Stafford, several of them not working, data loss, dates wrong, back in action on Tuesday. Coincidence? What do you think? I don't think so because I don't believe in coincidences in crime. I think this is getting really scary, folks. And in my opinion, this was a planned taking of Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers and out of Hendersonville, Tennessee, over 3 months, 6 months ago in 3 days. It's taken a spooky turn. We Please let me know what you think about the new information about the neighbors' cameras being jammed from Friday to Tuesday. And let me know if you happen to know when the plans changed about that weekend, about Sebastian not going to his dad's sets. Upcoming, we're going to discuss the lights, their path along the neighborhood or in front of the houses, and the dark sedan. It's getting chilling. Really spooky. Hit that notification bell. I'd love for you to sub to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Stay safe and talk soon, friends.